Thank you. Our first order of business is a presentation, and it is my pleasure to introduce tonight Leonardo McClarty. Leonardo assumed the role of the President and CEO of the Fayette Chamber of Commerce starting in November. Mr. McClarty's prior roles include leading the Howard County Chamber of Commerce in Maryland, serving as Director of Economic Development and Community Development in the city of York, Pennsylvania, and a decade-long stint as President and CEO of the DeKalb Chamber of Commerce in Atlanta. Welcome to Peachtree City. Welcome back to Georgia, Leonardo, and thank you for being with us tonight.
Well, let's see. Okay, so this is on. Well, thank you, Mayor, for extending the invitation and certainly to members of the council. I'm going to see if I can raise this a little bit, or at least can you hear me okay? I'll just project. I'm a father of 3 daughters, 2 of which are twins, so I think I got this maybe loud speaking thing down pat. But but again, I'm going to spend just a few minutes sharing. And ultimately, what's really going to be important for us this year, being that I'm a football guy and being in SEC country, I'll use a football term. It won't be anything in here that you might feel that's, glamorous, but really essential, what I would call blocking and tackling and doing some basics that we need to do as an organization for much of this year. But so without further ado, I'm going to get started. And the first thing, let's see. I'm going to make sure I follow instructions. I hit it one time. Okay, let's try it again.
Help is on the way.
All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is just share a little bit about what the chamber is. Certainly, I know many of you up there are very familiar, but for those that may be watching or here in the audience, oftentimes what I've found over the years is that people will have heard of a chamber, but oftentimes may not know exactly what it is that we do. We have this joke within our industry that sometimes people see us maybe as the place to go and get maps. You know, that you're starting to have a family reunion or some gathering and someone says, hey, well, stop by your local chamber and get us information on the city, the county, the place, or what have you. But ultimately, one of the things I like to say is that we are a community organization with a business focus. And so with that, you see a lot of the references where in this case it says where business and community connect. And ultimately our mission is that we want to promote the success of our membership and the community, ultimately doing that through leadership, service, and advocacy. Advocacy being that of really wanting to foster a pro-business environment, if you will. And so the other thing I like to also say is that we want to be a catalyst for positive community growth, jobs, and investment. And so a lot of what we do from a purely mission perspective is really centered around, again, business, jobs, opportunity. So for this year, when you really look at what is the chamber about and what will be our areas of focus, it's really fall into 5 categories. And I would like to say with those categories, it's 5 E's: engage, encourage, evaluate, enhance, expand. And so what do we mean by that? The first thing is starting with engage. Again, as a membership-based organization, so local governments, not-for-profits, large businesses, small businesses, medium-sized, and the like, institutions like colleges, universities, hospitals, ultimately join the chamber, and that's who we refer to when we say members. And so as a membership organization, ultimately it's all about how are we adding value, how are we relevant? And so for us, it's going to be constantly reviewing, revising various events. We put on a lot of different events, programs, whether those are seminars, conferences, summits, and things like that, ultimately so that we can help our members and those within the community connect with one another as an opportunity to be able to either promote their business, sell their goods and services. So a lot of what we're going to really focus on is how do we continue to engage the membership, how do we obviously grow by acquiring new members and so forth. The second, when we talk about encourage, that really gets into the heart of what chambers were founded to do. Oftentimes, people may have their first experience with the chamber by going to an event, but chambers were really founded to be ultimately drivers of, again, jobs, also to be able to, again, to work with our elected officials, our appointed officials on things that would ultimately lead to economic development and positive growth. And so in this case, we want to, again, continue to work closely with our development authority, our cities, our counties, certainly, ultimately to be able to advocate for, again, policy that's going to aid in business growth and economic development. So when we get into the third area where we talk about evaluate, and this is really operational. And so while on the one hand, the chamber is a not-for-profit organization, at the same time, we've catered to businesses. And so there's a certain expectation that we're going to run our organization business-like, and thus we need to make sure that we, again, function like that. We have certain key performance indicators, and that we're ultimately functioning at the highest efficiency in terms of how we do the work for this community. And so, again, looking at our operational policies, our processes, ultimately to make sure that we're a well-run organization. The last two center on enhancement, and this gets into communications from a marketing perspective. So I see here where the city has just gone through the process of having a new website. I know also there's newsletters where you continue to try to engage the public so that people know, again, what's taking place, how do they get involved, how do they continue to be able to offer their opinions when they have them, and ultimately we want to be able to do the same thing. And while in this case from a city perspective, it may be the residents and the taxpayers, in our case it's members and key strategic partners. And so we want to continue to make sure that on our end that we're communicating what's taking place business-wise, how we're continuing to add value, how we continue to assist them in their small business growth, particularly when you look at about maybe 80% easily of our membership are small businesses. They're the local people around here, whether it's your tax professionals, maybe it's your local restaurateur, maybe it's a retailer. And so that communications piece is going to be vital this year as we continue to grow and develop. And then the last thing really gets into expansion, which is really about collaboration. Recognizing that community challenges, regional challenges, they can't be solved by us by ourselves. They can't be solved in a vacuum. This is where, again, we're going to have to work with members of council, the mayor, city manager, others, economic development, other chambers regionally, to be able to sit down at the table and figure out how do we solve challenges, whether it's related to workforce development, whether it's transportation, whether it's housing affordability, whether it's sustainability. And so all of these things are going to take various groups sitting down, working collectively together if we're going to continue to grow and have the community that we've all, love and want to pass on to the next generations. And so that essentially is really the chamber for 2024. And so again, want to be respectful of time, and we'll take any questions that you might have.
Council? Yes.
There it is. How many members are there in the chamber at this time?
So right now we have somewhere around 600 members or so.
Are all of them business, or are there some individuals in there that are not necessarily business related?
They're don't know the exact percentage, but I would say very few would be individuals.
Okay.
If there are individuals, they tend to be solopreneurs or consultants that maybe by choice they're a business of one.
Okay. And the location is over by
Truett's
Luau.
Yes.
That's what everyone says. Okay. Very good. And when are the meetings held?
So we have various, not necessarily just one meeting per se, but we have things throughout the course of the month. So as an example, next week, we'll have at different times business seminars. We have our legislative reception, which hopefully you all are aware of, that's coming up the second week. So there are various events taking place all throughout the course of the month that some are members only, but the vast majority are open to either members and interested persons in the community.
One final question. Do you collaborate with other surrounding chambers of commerce like
Yeah.
Coweta and others?
We do, and so I'll give you one group that we are part of that's called the Regional Business Coalition. And that's been around since when I was in DeKalb, so I think it's probably got about a 20-year history. And ultimately, I like to say we work on things that don't know boundaries. Typically, it's air, transportation, water, and it includes chambers from as north as Hall County, going down to Henry, going west over into Carroll, and then going back east. I think it goes into Rockdale. And ultimately, we meet collectively about once a quarter to talk about those things that ultimately are going to impact the region. That from an economic, as you know, economic development gets competitive, but if you don't have clean air, if you don't have water, if you don't have the proper roads to move goods, then it doesn't matter.
And you need the land along with that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's an example of how we work together. But certainly we do actually last year did a diversity, equity, and inclusion summit with the Clayton and Henry County Chamber. So we definitely try to work with our neighbors, and I know Candace very well in Coweta, and so we're talking about what makes sense for us to work closely on as partners, being that they're right next door to us as well.
Thank you, Leonardo.
All right. Peachtree City just launched our first e-newsletter that's geared toward our business community on January 17th, and it went out to more than 2,000 businesses in Peachtree City. So we have a lot to do, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Likewise.
Leonardo.
Yes.
Announcements, awards, special recognition. We're going to start with news about a new golf cart bridge that's coming in.
That's correct. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So I did want to announce the great news that the 54 bridge detour, this is the bridge that runs parallel to 54 and goes over 74. While the detour specifically may not be as exciting, knowing that the construction is underway on that bridge is probably the most exciting part. This is just a timeline of dates that are coming up, weather permitting, and we're talking as soon as Monday, February 5th, with some closures for tree removal, to cut back some of the tree line. This schedule only shows to February 14th. However, we determined that there may be closures for both vehicular traffic as well as golf cart traffic throughout the entire construction period, going all the way, again, weather permitting, prior to the weekend of Memorial Day.
And again, that's the golf cart bridge that's currently single lane will be a new double wide bridge over Lake Peachtree at the north end of Lake Peachtree, similar to the double wide bridge at the south side of Lake Peachtree. So it's a very exciting project, and we'll just get through all that pain together.
Yes, and we encourage residents to go on our website to sign up for notifications. If they don't already receive the slice, they could also sign up for the slice. And we are sending out notifications on our new Navigate PTC navigation app.
And speaking of the website,
Yes, speaking of the website. So we did want to present the mayor and council as well as the residents with just some information about our new website. The new website was unveiled on Monday. It was actually went live. And with the website, it wasn't just we wanted pretty colors. There was actual data analytics that went into the design of the website. So first we looked at what were the most used pages. We also looked at information as the most clicked links. We also looked at information regarding things that were ADA accessible, making sure that our residents who may have some disability was able to utilize the website no matter what their disability was. We also looked at things that were eye-catching, appealing, drawing the eye, just so that way our residents were able to find things easier. And the use of the colors are from our brand guidelines and logo colors, so that's why you see some of the colors that may look familiar to what you've been seeing throughout the city and some of the other initiatives that we've done. Just to advise, we had started this process back in 2023, so it has been a long process, but we are happy that to see what we've come up with, and this was a labor of love for many staff members in various departments. I also did want to say there has been a internal competition between the library and recreation that they actually receive. They go back and forth month to month on the most clicked items. So what we did, because we noticed that our residents are going to their pages more, they actually received a department header page, which looks like their own page, just making it easier for residents to find things that are associated with the library or associated with our recreation and special events. So if you haven't had the opportunity, please go down to our website. It's www.peachtree-city.org, and just take a look around. You're going to find great things such as detours and updates. For instance, the 54 bridge information's on there. You can find quarterly reports. You can find quick links to our recreation program activities guide, online payments, permits and registration, careers, and then we also launched an Engage PTC where you can follow along with local projects that we have going on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.
Wow. All right, check it out. Also under announcements, awards, special recognition, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome to the podium at this time Arnie Geiger and Wayne Fowler so that we can have the American Legion Post 50 Enforcement Officer of the Year and Firefighter of the Year. Thank you so much for doing this tonight.
I want to thank the mayor and council for letting us make these presentations right here at the meeting and get a little more recognition for outstanding members of our community. So we'll start with the firefighter of the year, and that would be Mitch Willis. Would you come on up here, please? These awards are presented by the American Legion throughout the country, and most posts participate in giving these awards. And we've been very fortunate in Post 50 to have had some real winners that we're not done here because we're sending this to the state. And so when state may choose him to be above the other people in the state. So we've always had some really good entrants, and here we have again this year. We're very pleased this year, and we have a certificate here that says Firefighter of the Year Award 2023 presented to Senior Firefighter Mitch Willis of Peachtree City Fire Department, Peachtree City, Georgia, in recognition and sincere of your outstanding loyalty, devoted public service, and leadership during your 17-year career while serving as senior firefighter, and second, in command, ensuring that apparatus are properly staffed while training is done and the reports are completed and checked. He is assigned also as a fire training officer for new hires while upholding the principles of democracy, patriotism, and service of God and country. Presented this day, February 1st, 2024, with Community Award Coordinator Wayne Fowler and Post Commander Arnie Geiger. We're not done yet. We have a certificate here, and
Copy of the package.
this is Wayne has done an outstanding job on arranging for these certificates and having arranged with the Chief Murphy. Come on up here and get a picture. So Chief Murphy has been very helpful in selection, and on top of that, we have a check for $100. So get in here between Wayne and I, hold that certificate up, and we'll present that check for official pictures here.
I like firemen.
Sure.
Oh, that's good.
I have one more thing, Art.
Yes, sir.
Family in there.
I always have one more thing.
Step up.
Did you notice that?
in front of the podium
Uh,
so that it's not
Step right in it.
in front of the podium.
Mitch, Since I found out in reading your package that you're one of my Marines,
Yes, sir.
yep, I call you my Marines because I was in a reserve unit that was Joint Navy and Marines. And heck, if those Marines didn't get a big sheet cake every November 10th, and it said, "Happy birthday, United States Marines," and down here it said, "And Chief Fowler." Then they would start in on me, this is why I call them my Marines, telling me that God intended me to be a Marine. That's why I was born on the Marine birthday. And he says, I didn't listen. So, I have a Marine challenge going for you here.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Yes, sir.
Then
Thank you.
and now.
So thank you.
All right, let's give Mitch a hand. Thanks a lot, Mitch.
Thanks, sir.
Appreciate it, sir. We also do the Police Officer of the Year, so a law enforcement officer. We've had plenty of good candidates in the past, and we have a very good one this year. Is Brad here?
And we have one president right now, one of the winners that went to state, Anna Leaf.
Who's that?
Anna Leaf, stand
Yeah,
back
Anna,
there.
yeah, oh, yeah. Stand up, wave your hand so everybody sees. Okay. Last year, she went to the state, and what'd she do with her? Did she? Yeah. Okay, this, appreciate it there, Brad. And, Law Enforcement Officer of the Year Award 2023, presented to Sergeant Brad Milstein. Is that correct? Milstein? Milstein of Peachtree City Police Department, Peachtree City, Georgia, in recognition of sincere appreciation of your outstanding loyalty, devoted public service, and leadership during your 25 years of service in law enforcement with Spalding County Sheriff's Department as a detention officer, and the duty and the drug task force was promoted to sergeant. In 2008, he transitioned to Fayette Peachtree Police Department and promoted to traffic lieutenant. In 2014, Sergeant Milstein moved to the Peachtree City and has served with the Patrol Division, becoming a police sergeant in the 2016 and overseeing the Department of Training, made major improvements to the training program. In 2022, he transferred to the Criminal Investigation Division, supervising all detectives while upholding the principles of democracy, patriotism, and service to God and country, presented on February the 1st, 2024 by the American Legion Lyle Brewster Post 50 here in Peachtree City. Coordinator Wayne Fowler, Post Commander Arnie Geiger. There you are, sir. In addition to that, we don't want to leave you out either. We've got a certificate here, and we have a check for $100. And hopefully we'll present this to the state, and perhaps you can move on in the state. All right? Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Chief, we want to also Chief Moon, because Chief Moon has done a lot of work getting these officers into the program here.
Especially, get in.
Making a lot of work to get together with us to honor these service people. All right. There you
Brad.
go, Brad.
Okay, Brad. I know you've talked with me twice about this. Yeah, you didn't serve in the military, but you're a police officer. You've been one for a long time and done a fantastic job. So, here's a law enforcement challenge going for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Because you're serving just as hard, probably harder than we did. Okay?
Thank
Let's give Brad a hand.
We left out the part about they're supposed to use that money to take their wife, their spouse.
Take their wives to dinner? Oh, that make it. Yeah, well, we just want to thank the community. We want to thank the whole community and, of course, the council here for having such an opportunity to present these awards. And we want to thank the people who received awards having such a desire to have such a good community for us. American Legion Post 50, thanks you all for coming.
Thank you, Commander.
Thank you.
Public comment?
Yes, we have 2 individuals signed up to speak. The first person signed up is Traylon Smith.
Good morning. My name is Traylon Smith. I'm from Atlanta. I'm 34 years old, a single father. Well, me and my fiance take care of my son. He's 11 years old. I came out here tonight to offer the Peachtree City EV chargers. I work for a company, Zen YGE. We're a brand partner company. The goal for Zen YGE is net zero emissions. Basically, they want 2028 zero emissions. They do financing for every charger, EV charger you have seen, from the smallest to the biggest, like the DC chargers. We have a couple of them. I'm gonna leave you with a notebook that has about 9 of the ones that we offer. We turn buildings solar. We have a variety of products, about 20 products now, going to 200, but it should be by the end of next year. But, you know, I just wanted to offer the EV chargers to the city of Peachtree. And, you know, we'll finance it. All you have to do is just say yes, and we'll call you, for sure, for sure. No
Thank you.
matter how big of a job.
Thank you very much. We'll take those materials. Thank you.
Next person signed up to speak is Ralph Hale.
Good evening. My name is Ralph Hale. I live in Crabapple Woods. Just a couple quick things about short-term rentals. I want to say thank you for putting out a questionnaire, and I want to encourage everyone to fill out the questionnaire. I think it's something that is going to expand. And one of the other things that prompted me up here tonight is I actually got something in the mail, you know, wanting me to sign up for property management. I don't know if others have gotten it or not. It's from a place called Hosted SSI. This came in the mail, postcard. But then that prompted me to look online, and there's a number of places that you can sign up: Airbnb, Verbro, Vacasa, Home to Go, Holiday Homes, Cozy, Hosted SSI. I mean, this goes on and on. And some of the things we need to consider is it a business? What does zoning say about neighborhoods, businesses in the neighborhood, what could it ultimately do to policing? Will it increase police activity because parties off on and on? I'm not saying I know what the answer to it is, but I hope that meetings can become public and people can come and speak their mind. You can have both sides. Hey, if I own something, I should be able to do something with it. But if I'm in a neighborhood, I own my house and I don't want a party house next to me. So there's just lots of questions, and hopefully we come up with a good solution. And with the zoning, businesses allowed in the neighborhood, many things. But thank you for your time.
Thank you. Agenda changes. Council? No? Minutes, January 18th, 2024 regular meeting minutes, January 18th, 2024 executive session minutes.
You need a motion?
Yes, please.
Yes, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as posted, A and B, for the 2 meetings.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda, item A, fiscal year 2024 budget amendment, donation acceptance for portable baseball mounds. Funding source, the donation is from the Peachtree City Little League. Can I get a motion?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve, to accept money from, a donation, from this agenda item from Peachtree City Little League.
I second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And with that, we just accepted a $15,294 donation from Peachtree City Little League for those portable baseball mounds. So thank you. Where would we be without our community partners? Old agenda items, we have none. New agenda items, we have none. Public hearings, A, 22401, new alcohol license, Hobnob Tavern.
And the protocol is as follows. When the public hearing is opened, members of the council will become hearers. No action on their part is in order until the mayor declares the hearing complete. First, city staff will present the item. The mayor will then allow a total of 10 minutes for members of the public to comment. No individual member of the public will be given more than 5 minutes to speak. Time limits may only be extended by a majority vote of council. Prior to closing the public hearing, city staff and the public will be given the opportunity to ask questions. When the mayor is assured that the input is complete, the public hearing shall be ended, and the council may then debate the issue and render a decision. All speakers from the public are asked to follow these rules. 1, please wait to be recognized by the mayor. 2, come to the microphone and state your name and neighborhood prior to making remarks. 3, keep individual remarks under 5 minutes and do not repeat others' comments. And 4, address all comments to the mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm speaking regarding the Hobnob Tavern. It's a new alcohol license. This location is located inside of the Avenues. And the location, the licensee, as well as the license representative all meet the requirements to receive an alcohol license. Any questions?
Thank you. At this time, I'll open the public hearing. Is there anybody who wishes to speak in favor? Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I hereby close the public hearing. Council?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Public hearing, B, 22402, annual zoning map and zoning ordinance adoption.
Good evening. This is an item that we do annually. I'm not sure if, there we go. There we go. This is an item that we do annually. This time last year, right around February, this is when we adopt or basically re-adopt the existing zoning map and the existing zoning ordinance. This is purely to keep us legally sound and defensible. No changes are being proposed or made that haven't already been mapped and heard and voted on by this body.
Thank you. At this time, I'll open the public hearing. Is there anybody who wishes to speak in favor? Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I hereby close the public hearing. Council,
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Council staff topics. Water efficiency code update.
I will keep this very brief because you will actually be seeing the meat of this item at your next agenda. At your next agenda, you will see a resolution to transmit an update to our plumbing code, and it will be called the Water Efficiency Plumbing Code. The building official will be here that evening. The code will be in your packet. It will be publicly available for everybody to ask questions. But I wanted to step back and sort of explain that this is actually part of a bigger planning program that the state does. We hear a lot about the ARC and some of our GDOT districts, but we're also within something called a water planning district in the state. There are 11, and Fayette County is in the Metro North Georgia Water Planning District. And they are mandated, they were created around 2000 and mandated to adopt a 5-year strategic plan. And in that plan, they hand out tasks for other agencies to do, local jurisdictions, water, public water providers, public sewer providers. We're all given a list of tasks of items that we need to do within the next 5 years in order to remain compliant. They do have some sticks. If we do not remain compliant, we lose access to any type of bonds, GFA bonds for water, sewer, or any kind of other public projects that we do, as well as, but the one that certainly makes us a little wary is they also have the ability to take away our MS4 permit, which is a soil and erosion permit that allows the city to review development permits instead of sending them to the state, which they would then get a 60 to 90-day review period. So it would significantly hamper or slow down, let me say that, slow down the development process in our city. And so we don't want to be in that position. And so they have provided us with a draft of this water efficiency ordinance or code update. So ironic as it may sound, your resolution will be asked to send the draft that the state has given us back to the state for their review. Once they approve it and send it back, then it'll be, you'll be asked to officially adopt it. I did want to say that some other things that you may hear from us, from staff, whether it's my department or the stormwater department in the next 5 years, we have actually accomplished a lot of the items in their plan already, so kudos for us. Some of the things that we will bring forward, though, relate a lot to septic systems, private septic systems, and adopting policies for where we will accept them, where we will not accept them, and what we would do if one failed in a critically environmental area. Those types of conversations will be occurring over the next 4 to 5 years. But the first thing on your plate will be this plumbing code update.
All right, thank you. Any other council staff topics? Nope.
Nope.
Nope. All right, do we have executive session?
We do, Mayor. We need to discuss real estate in executive session.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we adjourn and go into executive session
For,
Real estate.
for real estate matters.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We now are in executive session.